festival, beautiful festival of Navratri, falling in the first week of October 2016. Now, this Navratri is very auspicious considering the fact that one extra day is added to this Navratri, and especially when during the Shraddh period, a day is reduced. Shraddh is normally a 16 days, and this year it was 15 days, and that one day was added on to Navratri. So whenever there is this kind of a combination, which is happening after a lot many years now this year, automatically a lot of growth, happiness, success, and beautiful times ahead are expected when such events take place. So this was for Navratri, why this particular Sharadriya Navratri is so important and so powerful. Now it is starting from 1st of October 2016, and a lot of people do place Kalash in their house. So I would also talk about how Kalash are placed and what all to do and what is the process of invoking the divine goddess. All these 9 days, what are the mantras involved in it. So we'll talk about those. And also for spiritually inclined people, we would talk about which chakras to focus on which day so that you can elevate yourself into higher planes, because mind it, these days are beautiful days full of powerful feminine energies and the energies which manifest the entire universe. So when you invoke Mother Goddess, automatically those invocations starts working within you and activating your own inner system to achieve growth, success, happiness in life. And also if you're spiritual seeker, then also spiritual evolvement in the sense of Kundalini awakening. So that can also happen during these 9 days, very powerful days. Now Pratipada Tithi, the first day of Navratri, is falling 2 days, on the 1st and the 2nd of October. And what all to do? Basically, a lot of people normally just keep fast. So if you're keeping fast, ideally you should do it all the 9 days. If you can't do 9 days, you can do first day and the 8th day. If that is also not possible, do it on the Ashtami day, which is the 8th day, which is a very powerful day again. It's the day of Mother Goddess Gaurima, and when you take up a fast on that day, definitely a lot of expiation of your bad karmas do take place and good things come up. So that is how you can follow the fast proceedings. But a lot of people also place Kalash in their house, and how to do it, what time to do it, I would explain to you in this video. To begin with, what is a Kalash? Kalash is an earthen pot. It would be something like this, or it could be a little more highly elevated, and that pot is filled with water, and inside that it can be pure Gangaji water, that means the water from river Ganges. If that is not possible, plain simple water would also do. So place that water inside it, put a little yellow mustard seeds, black sesame seed, a little bit of rice grains, one arnica nut. Now what is an arnica nut? We also call it in Hindi supari. So one sabut supari has to be put inside it, one durba grass, which is like green grass that normally grows outside, so that is placed inside the kalash, and a small drop of scent is placed inside it, and then the kalash is covered up with and it is tied with red molly thread. Now what is a molly thread? It's a pure cotton thread, which is it's like a raw cotton pure thread, which is colored into yellow and orange color, and it is tied around the kalash. So you tie it 7 times around this kalash, and then place 9 or 5 mango leaves or ashoka tree leaves. So you have to place those leaves here, and then you then place a small katori, a bowl. So it can be a steel bowl, or you can even use brass bowl or copper bowl, that's your wish. So put a bowl there. It can be an earthen bowl also, and place some rice grains on top of that bowl. Now on the top of that bowl, you have to place a coconut. So coconut is again coconut with a husk and water inside it, and again red molly is tied around the coconut, and a red cloth is tied on it, wrapped around it, and again the red mollies are tied around the coconut. It is placed on top of this earthen pot, and keep in mind that the face of the coconut, those eyes that you see, should not be down, because if it is down, it brings in illness and sickness in the family. It is, if it is facing up, then it can make your enemies overrule you. It should always face you, so the eye should be facing you, the face should be facing you, and that's how they are placed, the kalash is put. Now take one wooden chalky or a wooden you can even use any other steel small flat cardboard or carton that can be used, or a wooden chalky or wooden platform is the ideal thing, and then cover it up with soil and sand, a mixture of soil and sand, and sow barley seeds on it. And in the center put some rice grains there on this soil coverage. So don't put the soil, don't sow the soil, sorry, barley seeds there in the center. You just have to put rice grains there, and on top of those rice grains you have to put this kalash in the center. And when you place it at the center and you sow the barley seeds, as the barley seeds grow, it is also an indication of how prosperous or good happiness would come to you in the coming 6 months till the next Navratri. So you need to take care of it a lot, and it also is like a blessing because when you place kalash, basically kalash is also placed to invoke all the divine forces so that they can come down and reside in this kalash, and also bless you every time when you're praying upon the goddess and invoking the goddess and praying upon all the divine souls. So that's what the basic process is. Now once you've done this, after they just make sure make another altar with the small wooden chowki, and then place Mother Goddess in the center, Devi Durga's idol, or her picture in the center. On the right hand side of hers, place Goddess Lakshmi, and on the left hand side of hers, place Goddess Saraswati. So that's how they are placed. Hanumanji and Bhairava are again placed on the left hand side of Goddess Durga, and Laddu Gopal can be placed in the front, and Shivji again is placed on the right hand side. So that's how the placement of the divine energies and idols are done. And after that, there are a lot of people who do sankalp. If you don't know how to do sankalp in Shodashopchar, it's okay. You just invoke your guru first, and then ask him or her to come and bless you. And after that, invoke Ganpati and ask him to, bring you blessings, and invoke him to bless you and make you do all the correct things. Even if you are not able to do it, still, ask him to bless you. After that, Shivji is invoked. After Shivji, Goddess Durga Ma is invoked, and after that, Lord Vishnu Ji is invoked, and then Bhairavji, and then Hanuman Ji is invoked. So that's the process how you invoke all divine gods and goddesses. And once you have invoked them, burn a diya, light a diya, which should be of cow ghee. So the ghee that you are using should be made of cow pure ghee, and light the diya. That is the Khand Jyoti that you light up. If you're doing 9 days puja and if you're placing the kalash, the diya has to be burned for all the 9 days. So when you're burning the diya, lighting the diya, you need to chant the Navan mantra of Goddess Durga. So what is the Navan mantra? Om Aing Hring Kling Chamundai Viche. That's the Navan mantra. I'll repeat it again. Om Aing Hring Kling Chamundai Viche. So chant that mantra and light that diya in front of the gods and goddesses. Offer them dhoop, offer them incense, offer them panchamrit, offer them all the fruits and sweets that you have made for them, and offer them flowers, and then invoke and do your normal prayers. And during these Navratri days, it is very auspicious to read Durga Saptashati. Durga Saptashati is a book which is an embodiment of the entire divine energies of the goddess Durga or goddess Shakti. Now it also elaborates on how the goddess came into being, and what was her essence, and what is her soul embodiment, and her energy embodiment, how she came into form, and how she's brought up other energies and expanded into and exploded into other divine energies. So it's all the details are written there in Durga Saptashati. So it's very auspicious to read it. Durga Saptashati is a very ancient textbook, ancient book which is as old as the Vedas, and one can read its mention in the Markandeya Purana. So Durga Saptashati, how do you read it? Basically, if you can't read the whole Durga Saptashati, you can just read the 11th chapter. That is also good enough. You can't do that. There is Madhyam Charitra. It is divided into 3 charitra. The Pratham Charitra, which is composed of the first chapter, the Madhyam Charitra is the second, third, and the fourth chapter, and the Uttar Charitra, which is the remaining chapters from 5th to 13th chapter. So the Madhyam Charitra is very important. If you can't read the entire Durga Saptashti, if you can just do that Madhyam Charitra, that also will bring you a lot of blessings. And then before the chapters are started, there is Kavach, Keel, and Argala. So you can even read those. So how do you read that? The ideal process to read is first to read Kavach and then Argala and then Keelak. So that's how you do it. And then Navana Mantra are done. Now it is very important is Utkilan should be done if you're really doing the entire Durga Saptashti, because without Utkilan things will not really work for you and it will not really benefit you. So when you take up that book itself, it does explain how the Utkilan is done and what are the mantras for Utkilan. So do that and then do read the chapters and end it again by the Suktam, the Ratri Suktam and the Vedic Suktam. So that's how you do. And if you cannot do any of these, just read Siddh Kunjika Srot, which is at the end of Durga Saptashti book, and just read that in the evening. That itself is a very powerful way to invoke goddess and seek her energies. Now, these are the 9 days of Devi Durga, and every day a different Devi is invoked. Her entire the whole persona is very different, and she blesses you in a different form. So I'll also talk about that and also talk about which chakras to be invoked. So we'll start up with this was how you initially do invoke, and if you can't do all the 9 days pujan, so you can do these small things. Also there is 32 names that are written behind the Durga Saptashti. You can also do those 32 names, you can chant them, and that also will bring you a lot of blessings. So it is called Battis Namavali, Durga ke Battis Namavali. So you can even chant that. Now coming back to the Navratri days. The first 3 days are dedicated to Goddess Kali, because those are the 3 days when you need to overcome your Tamasika Gun. Tamasic Gun are all the vices, all the aggression, all the anger, all those forces that which might the warrior forces that are there inside you needs to be demolished and cracked upon, break your ego down. So that is the first 3 days dedicated. The next 3 days are dedicated to Goddess Lakshmi, and that those are the days when we say that Lakshya Bhedan days. So Lakshya Bhedan means if you want to achieve something in life, these are the 3 days you need to focus upon and chant and invoke goddess. And the last 3 days are dedicated to Goddess Saraswati, which are the days where you actually introspect and explore what have you gained and lost, and how you have evolved yourself. So these are 3 days to become one with the universe. So these are how the days are demarcated. Now the first day is the day of Goddess Shailaputri. Now Goddess Shailaputri is called as Goddess Shailaputri because she was born in the Himalayas, and that's the reason she's called Goddess Shailaputri. Now Goddess Shailaputri is when you invoke her, you need to wear the color of the clothes that you should wear is orange in color. So wear orange color clothes. Offer the offerings that are made to her is ghee on this day, so you can do ghee ka havan, that is offer her ghee while you can burn a small fire, or you can just burn few small coal and or just invoke her and offer her ghee. So that's as simple as that you can do. And the mantra that has to be chanted is Om Sham Shem Shum Shailputriya Swaha. Om Sham Shem Shum Shailputriya Swaha. Yeah, Om Rim Shivaya Namaha. Just simple Om Rim Shivaya Namaha doing 108 times would also do the needful. For anybody who is into spiritual seeking and higher evolving process, the focus has to be done on the Mooladhara chakra, the root chakra, which is at the base of your tip of your spinal cord. And that's a chakra that you need to invoke. That's a chakra that brings in stability in life and a lot of balance in life, and also makes you debt free and enhances your career. So focus on that chakra, and as simple as that, you can invoke Ganpati also. You can just plain simply chant the mantra Lam. Do that. Do that a couple of times and you will see the chakra will start vibrating. You can feel the sensation down there. These are beautiful days when there is a likability for you to feel those sensation, and focus on these chakras. And then the next day, the second day is the day of the Dvitiya day, is the day of goddess Brahmacharini. Now this is the goddess when she had done a lot of meditation to achieve or to get God Shivji as her husband. So she has a divine aura around her. She's also the goddess for good health, and you need to focus on which chakra that you need to focus. Here you need to focus on the sacral chakra, which is also called as the Swadhisthana chakra. And the color that you need to wear today would be white color. And what do you offer her? So sugar is offered as a bhog to goddess Brahmacharini. What are the mantras that you do for goddess Brahmacharini? The mantra would be Om Brahm Brim Brum Brahmachariniye Namaha Swaha. Om Brahm Brim Brum Brahmachariniye Namaha Swaha. Or Hrim Shri Ambikai Namaha. As simple as that. Hrim Shri Ambikai Namaha. Now the third day of the Navratri is the Mother Chandraghanta's day. Now the focus has to be on the Manipur chakra. You need to wear red clothes, and when you meditate on this day, your clairaudience, your sense of smell, clairaudience, clairvoyance starts developing. You might hear sounds, you might hear, feel smell. So these are the things that gets invoked, and the offerings that are done to her are for milk products. So any sweets made up of milk, or kheer that you can make, that is rice porridge that you can make of made up of milk, is offered to her. Some dakshinas are always given to Brahmins on any of these days, and when you offer kheer to her, all your pains, she's the one who can expiate you from your pains and bring you extreme joy and happiness in life. What are our mantras? Our mantras: Om Hrim Kling Shring Chandraghantaye Namaha, Aing Shring Shaktiye Namaha. So these are the two mantras that you need to chant. Now the fourth day is the day of Devi Kushmanda. Devi Kushmanda is also the mother goddess that also gave birth to the entire universe. And first it was Shailaputri who was born as to be the escort of God Shivji, and then Brahmacharini prayed and meditated to achieve Shivji as his wife. And then came Chandraghanta, who got married to Shivji, and that's the reason she adorns that Chandra half moon sign on her crown. And then comes Kushmanda, who's now the goddess of fertility, and she can give birth to the entire universe. So that's the reason she is prayed upon. And after that, what do you wear? You wear royal blue color when you pray upon her. You focus on the Anahat chakra, that is your heart chakra. And the offerings that are made to her are malpuas. So you can make malpuas, and distributing this sacrament in the temples are also considered very, very auspicious. Now, when you offer malpua as a bhog to the goddess, it also invokes your intellectual levels and also your clarity in life. What is the mantra that you chant? The mantras are Om Hrim Kushmandaye Jagat Prasutye Namaha Swaha. Om Hring Kushmandaye Jagat Prasutye Namaha Swaha, or Aing Hring Devye Namaha. Aing Hring Devye Namaha. These are two mantras that you can chant for her. Chant it 108 times. That will definitely bring you a lot of peace and happiness. Now the fifth day of the Navaratri, which is falling on the 6th of October, is the day for Mata Skandamata. Now from Ma Kushmanda, she's given birth to a child, Lord Skand, who is also God Kartikeya, and is the first son of Goddess Parvati and Shivji. And the focus is now made on the Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra. So whenever you're clear, voice definitely develops, but the creativity, this is a chakra for creativity, so it enhances your creative aspect, it expands your creative inputs, and when you focus on this chakra, you also bridge the gap between the higher planes and the lower planes. What are the offerings that are made to her? You wear yellow clothes when you pray upon her, and you offer her banana. When you offer her banana, she is a goddess who would keep your physical health very, very strong. What are her mantras? Om Rem Saha Skand Matriya Namaha Swaha. Om Rem Saha Skand Matriya Namaha Swaha. Hring Kling Swaminye Namaha. That's the another mantra. Hring Kling Swaminye Namaha. So these are the two mantras that you can chant for her, and that will bring you a lot of peace. On the sixth day, that's the Shashti Tithi, this would be the seventh day of the Navratri because there are 2 days that are coming up together. So on the Shukla Paksha, Ashwin Shukla Paksha Shashti Tithi, Ma Katyayani is offered prayers and she is invoked upon. Now, Ma Katyayani was also the goddess who was born at the sage Katyayan's ashram after his invocation of goddess, and she came to him as his daughter, and then she was the one who actually cleansed entire ashram area and the surrounding areas of all the demons that were around it. And Ma Katyayani is actually also the mother of eternal youth and grace and happiness and love relationship, etc., etc. Now, if you are a person whose marriage has not been happening for a long time now, so this is the time and this is the day when you need to invoke and do appease her by offering prayers to her. So Ma Katyayani is generally prayed upon for unmarried children who have not been married. So it's a beautiful day. And for spiritually invoking people, the chakra that needs to be focused upon is the Agya chakra, the Bro chakra that one calls it, and you need to focus there. The color that you need to wear today would be green color, and the offerings that you make to her is honey. So honey in any form is offered to her. It can be offered to her in the form of homa. It can be offered to her in the form of general, like honey as a naivedya that can be offered to her. And this is by offering honey, it also makes your own radiance come out and expand, so you look more attractive, more radiant and more positive. So people do get attracted to you because of the energy levels that you have embodied because of invoking Mother Goddess. So Katyayani Devi is prayed upon this day, and her mantra is as simple as Om Katyayani Devye Namaha. Om Katyayani Devye Namaha. And otherwise you can chant Hrim Shrim Katyayane Swaha. Hrim Shrim Katyayane Swaha. Focusing on the Agya chakra, the Ashna chakra, or the Bro chakra, or your clairvoyance also invokes when you focus on this. And the third eye chakra, that's all, these are different names given to this particular chakra. And when you focus on this chakra wearing green color, when you invoke her, definitely blessings comes and the door to clairvoyance opens up. So this is for the sixth day of Navratri, and then we move on to the seventh day, the seventh tithi of Navratri, when Ma Kalratri is invoked. Now, Mother Kalratri is also the goddess mother who brings in a lot of divine energies and protects you. She's the protector goddess. So her form is little wild and a little aggressive in when you see her, so in perception. But she's also the goddess who protects you in all forms. She's one goddess who can actually invoke you and connect you to the higher self because she resides in the crown chakra. So when you invoke her, the crown chakra starts exploding. You focus on your crown chakra, you invoke her, and the color that you wear is gray color when you are praying and offering her. And what is offered to her is jaggery. Jaggery and gur is offered to her as in Naivedya, and focus is on the crown chakra. What are the mantras that you need to work on? Now, mantras are Kling, Ing, Shring, Kalike, Namaha. Kling, Ing, Shring, Kalike, Namaha. And the other mantra is Om Hrim Kling Kalratre Namaha Swaha. Om Hrim Kling Kalratre Namaha Swaha. So chanting this mantra, focusing on your crown chakra, will benefit you a lot, invoke you. You can even do it late at night and chant 108 times at least. And this would also bring in a lot of clarity in your life. So when you do that, it is a beautiful, beautiful energy flowing all around you, increasing your auras, connecting to your higher soul, the higher self, and the goddess energy flows down beautifully in your entire persona, mind, body, and soul. Now, Ma Kalratri is worshipped on the Saptami day of Navratri, as I said, and this form of Mata Durga is a remover of all the evil forces and evil powers around you. So, if you are under psychic attack, any kind of nazar dosh, this is the day when you should fast and you should offer a jaggery and invoke her. Now, it also expiates you from abrupt pains that suddenly keeps on arising in your entire body if you're going through that deep arthritis problems or gout problems. This is the day you should pray upon her. Now the ninth day, that is the 9th of October, which is also the Ashtami Tithi. On the Ashtami Tithi, Mahagauri is prayed upon or invoked upon. Now Mother Gauri is also the embodiment of all the positive strengths and positive forces all around her. And generally she comes in the forms of small girl child below 12 years of age, and that's the reason Kanya Pujan is done, and girl child are invited in the homes. Many do that and offer them all kinds of food, and gifts are being offered, because it is said that Mother Goddess can come in any form of girl child to your house and take your offerings. So that's the reason Ashtami Tithi is considered to be a very, very powerful day, and uh, children are prayed upon, and one small boy is also prayed upon, because Bhairav was always is considered to be the form of Bhairav, and he is always attached to Mother Goddess, and it is said that until unless Bhairav is prayed upon, Mother Goddess wishes will not be, your wishes will not be fulfilled by Mother Goddess. So that's the kind of thing. And now this is the day when your focus goes a little above your crown chakra and to the star chakra. Now star chakra is also chakra when this is also the day when the whole thing starts getting connected to the higher self, and there is that you can envision all your chakras from top to bottom. You're able to clearly see all the chakras and see the movement of the chakras. I'll talk about chakras in details on some other episode much later on. Right now it is only focusing on how you can do your prayers and how you can invoke Mother Goddess. So do that on the Ashtami Tithi. Do pray upon Mother Mahagauri, and if you have serious relationship issues, this is again the day when you should pray upon her. You should also do Tulsi Pujan tonight. On this day in the evening, you should light a diya in front of Tulsi. If you have a Tulsi plant in your home, you should invoke that, and you should wear purple clothes when you are praying upon Mother Goddess Mahagauri. And the offerings that are made to her are coconut. So you need to offer coconut as an avidyam to Goddess Mother, and when you do that, she fulfills the wishes. And especially if you're a childless couple, or if you have a relationship lacking in your life, then she's the one who will bless you with a lot of happiness and love in life. So this is for Ashtami Tithi, and the Navami Tithi is the Ma Siddhidatri's day. Mother Siddhidatri is the embodiment of all the Siddhis, all the Das Mahavidyas, all the divine feminine forces all together, and one is Mother Siddhidatri. She is on the ninth day. So home, especially the Chandi Havan, is specially done on the Navami Tithi, and because that is the day when Goddess Chandi actually had killed all the demons, and she showed a magnified form to the entire universe. And when the spiritual seeker focuses upon the star chakra and the higher chakras, this is the time when the downpouring of energy will come down to you. All the siddhis will start flowing down in your life, whichever siddhi that you're praying upon, or wanting to, whether it is on the educational side or the relationship area, or health issues, any kind of siddhis that you are really seeking. This is the time when the blessings will start falling in and coming down on you. So beautiful day. Do Havan, Navratri Havan on the Navami Tithi, and the Havan is generally done on the Navami day, is done on the daytime. It's not done at night. So keep that in mind, and you can wear peacock green color on this day. Peacock green again is a color like you have that peacock string on Krishna's crown. It's a similar thing. It's a symbolism of higher chakras. So when the higher chakras become one with the lower chakras, there is a beautiful energy exchange from top to bottom and bottom to above, and that whole energy exchange makes you one with the divine soul and the divine God. So that is the symbolism of this particular color. So you wear peacock green color, focus on that chakra, higher chakras, invoke all your divine sources, and pray upon them, and do thank them with a lot of gratitude. So just say that, I thank you with a lot of gratitude, with respect and with love. So when you do that, you will see how the changes will come in your life. Positive changes will come in your life. So these are the day. And what is the bhog offered to Goddess Siddhidatri is til. that's the sesame seeds, the white sesame seeds are offered to her, and especially doing havan with white sesame seed and honey mixed, and doing havan with that, and doing a ahuti with that, is a beautiful way to appease Goddess Mother Earth and Goddess Shakti. So when you do that, a lot of positive changes will fall in, a lot of growth will happen, a lot of happiness will come to you. The Dashera falls on the 12th of October. That's the 10th day ideally, but this year it will be the 11th day. And normally, the 11th of October, the Dashera will fall in. And on this day, in a lot of areas, especially in the eastern India area like Kolkata, Bengal, and even Assam side, uh, whosoever has, Goddess Durga is actually the ideals are placed and they are invoked upon and prayed upon. So the Visarjan is actually done on this day, where they are taken to the river and then they are submerged in the river. So these 9 forms of Mata is also known as Nav Durga, and all these forms of worship during this day, they bring in a lot of divine energies, positive energies in your life, and also bring in a lot of happiness and success. So when you do that with a lot of invocation, do that with a lot of strong affirmation, whatever you want to achieve, with the will of God, with the will of Goddess, definitely things will happen for you. I wish you a lot of success. I'll pray for your peace and happiness, as it is. These 9 days are beautiful days, and I would want you to at least sit for 5 minutes and meditate upon the Goddess and the chakras that I've explained to you, and the colors that I've explained to you. Wear those colors, and I hope and pray that Goddess will definitely bless you with a lot of peace and happiness. Stay blessed. And the most important mantra that you can chant, if you can't chant anything else, is Sarv Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarvarth Sadike Shranye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namaha Namastute. When you do that, Goddess will definitely bless you. Stay blessed.